The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And we're in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Tank Spencer. Jeremy Greene alongside, as always, continuing with our NFL draft prep coverage here in the Sportsocracy. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and we are going to be live again every round of the NFL draft, starting here on Thursday night, April the 29th. The Minnesota Vikings, their NFL draft needs start out on the defensive line, right?
Yeah, they were epically bad at defensive end.
Yeah, you got to figure out a way to put some pressure on the quarterback. They were one of the worst teams last year in the NFL in not only getting home to the quarterback, they only had 23 sacks as a team last year. And I think their pressure or their hurry rate was like 8%, which was bottom half of the league by a good stretch.
It's not good, but getting back to Neil Hunter will help, obviously, because he's the best defensive lineman they have. Mm-hmm. I have them taking Rashad Weaver. That would be their ideal pick, the edge rusher from Pittsburgh. He's a situational guy, not particularly stout against the run, but he can get after the quarterback. I think he might be a better pro than he was in college, just because he was so easy to identify. There were two players on that defense, Rashad Weaver and Paris Ford, the safety, that really scared offenses. Other than that, it was just a bunch of dudes. And so I think he got isolated a lot. And once you get to the NFL and everybody's kind of on the same wavelength talent-wise, I think he could be a guy that actually shows out more in the NFL than he did in college.
This offensive line needs a lot of help as well.
It needs Jesus in certain places. You're starting, your left side currently, you're starting Rashad Hill and a Jet cast-off named Dakota Dozier. Mm-hmm. Rest assured, I see former Jets. We need to get them out of there. If the Jets looked at him and said, nah, fuck that, they shouldn't be starting for you.
The best player on their offensive line right now has got to be Garrett Bradbury, the center.
I actually like everything from the center right. I like Garrett Bradbury. I like Ezra Cleveland, the second-round pick last year. Mm-hmm. And I like Brian O'Neill, the right tackle. They need to fortify the left side. That's why I believe at 14 I've had this pretty much from Jump Street, and it hasn't really changed. I haven't taken Christian Darrisaw from Virginia Tech. This is a guy that some people think is a right tackle. Some people think he's a little heavy-footed. He sits back kind of far in pass protection. He just needs to be coached up. You know, Virginia Tech runs a ton, and I don't necessarily know that he got the best pass-blocking coaching. I think when he comes to the NFL, he will get that. I think there's a lot of room to grow with him, and I think he could be their left tackle for a long time.
And then you're going to apparently match up Ezra Cleveland with his big brother Ben.
Yes.
They're not related, by the way.
No, they're not. Cleveland's a way more popular name than I ever thought.
Ben Cleveland out of Georgia. Dude is just he creates space.
Yeah, he's a very large human being. What do the Minnesota Vikings do better than anybody?
Run the football.
There you go. I feel like a combination of Ben Cleveland and Christian Darrisaw would really allow them to do that. Not put so much pressure on Kirk Cousins. I am not completely sold that they don't look to make a quarterback move in this draft if somebody falls. This is if they stay put. I would if you add those two guys to this line, this would go from a middle of the pack offensive line to one of the best in football.
Okay, a market jump.
Market jump.
And a defensive tackle. You're taking the guy out of USC, Jay Tulele. Is that how you say his name?
Jay Tufel.
Tufel, excuse me.
This is a guy that I'm not necessarily as high on as a lot of other people are. I kind of fall in line with the Pro Football Focus rankings on this guy. There's some thought that because he was at USC, he's getting propped up. I don't necessarily agree with that. He stays off balance a lot. Really good guards seem to take him out. The solution to that is to put him next to Dalvin Tomlinson, in my opinion. This is a guy that I think can be a penetrating 4-3 tackle. I think he would fit nicely next to Dalvin Tomlinson, and he would be a great value for the Vikings in the early 100s.
All right, and then a cornerback, Rashad Wild Goose. You just love saying that guy's name, out of Wisconsin.
He has a great name, and he doesn't just have a great name, he's got a pretty solid game, too.
I'm surprised you don't have a wide receiver on this list.
Yeah,
I mean, they need one, right?
They do.
Okay, all right.
But I don't think it's a pressing need. This is not a super crazy pass-heavy team. I mean, I know they can be.
Right.
I don't necessarily think that's where this is headed. I kicked that to you on Rashad Wildgoose and didn't really say anything about him.
Yeah.
He's a man cover guy, can be kind of physical. Only played 56 snaps last year. The good's really good. The bad is mediocre. I think they need a corner just in case, the deal with Jeff Gladney. Add another guy just in case. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a slightly bigger need than a receiver in case Jeff Gladney does, end up in jail or, suspended or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of a receiver, I could see them taking a receiver later in the draft. This is a deep draft for that. You've already got Thielen running in the slots. You've got Justin Jefferson on the outside. There are a lot of slot receivers in this draft. There's not a ton of guys that I feel great about on the outside. And I don't think they would use one of their first 5 picks on that because Irv Smith, now that Kyle Rudolph is gone, is going to be featured more in the passing game.
Free Irv Smith.
Finally. It's good God. The good has been so good. There just hasn't been enough of it.
Right.
I really like where this team's headed, and a 5-man draft class of these 5 guys would be an A+ grade for me for the Minnesota Vikings.
I agree with that. Minnesota Vikings and Mike Zimmer. He's a guy I've always believed in. I really like him. Some people want to say he's on the hot seat.
He's not.
I don't think so.
He's not. He's safe. They love him there. The Will family's always, I'm not going to say notoriously, but they're pretty loyal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any fear of Mike Zimmer. I think he can build this team and not have to swing in the draft. He can take guys that are not developmental, but maybe are not finished products, something that's a little different from their division rival, the Chicago Bears.
Mm-hmm. 10 picks in the draft for the Minnesota Vikings. They got 4 in the 4th round. That's going to be their honey hole.
The 4th round is going to be aggressive. That's why
you find a lot of value, though.
That's why 2 of the guys on that screen, maybe even 3, can be had in the 4th round.
I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. We are in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. Don't forget to subscribe to the Sportsocracy. Share it with your friends. Again, we'll be here all 3 days of the NFL Draft. We'll see you next time.